All right, so here's a little history. I got some money in high school, and I got $250, and I went to Rogue Music on 30th Street, and I wanted to go and buy a black and white Rickenbacker like Paul Weller in the Jam. And I was looking at that Rickenbacker. I was like, "Fuck, I got 250 bucks. I'm ready to go." And then I saw an 808, the Roland TR 808, and I was like, Dick is the guy that owns the place. I said, Dick, how much is that? He was 250 bucks. And so I was like, do I buy the Rickenbacker? I already have a guitar, but it's not the cool Paul Weller guitar. Or do I get the drum machine? I kind of want a drum machine. Like I never had one. Everybody's like talking about drum machines, so I should get this one. And so I got it. You can do a little insert of that 808 right there. So I bought the 808 instead of the guitar. I was just like plugged that in, my little shitty like Emerson speakers, like it sounded awesome. And I was like, this is what I want to do. And that's how I got into it. And I just, wanted to make, I just got into it. I don't know, I didn't know that that was something that I knew how to do. And I did. And I got into it. And I made the beat for LL Cool J's first record.
I've heard that.
That's right. You're welcome. Well, the other thing is that I kind of discovered LL Cool J. I mean, that's a whole other, I didn't want to say that or get into that story, but since we're on the subject, I used to be at Rick's place all the time, and he had just started Def Jam Records, and he had one 12-inch out by T. La Rock and Jazzy J. And then people started sending him demo tapes, and I was the one that listened to the demo tapes. So if you sent a demo tape back in 1984 and didn't get signed, I apologize. But I got one around 85 from a kid who called himself LL Cool J. And I said, man, this is really good, Ricky, you got to check it out. In the early 80s, and around that time, late 70s, early 80s, when rap was getting played on the radio, I mean, we're, in New York City, downtown New York, like you heard, Rapper's Delight, and you heard, rap music on the radio in New York. Well, and so all of us on the hardcore scene, we all love rap music too, and it was just starting to, spread throughout New York. We were a punk band, and we were really, all we were listening to was rap music at that point. So we were like, well, we should, make what we love. And so we were playing, our shows, we would play like half punk and then half rap. The shows we played was just our friends anyways, so it wasn't like there was some weird thing happening. It was like, oh yeah, Adam and Mike love rap music, and we do too. And so it's like, we're all, all of us were changing. It wasn't just the three of us, it was our whole group of friends.
Panic was telling me about pause tapes. Did you guys ever do?
Oh man, I got pause tapes. I was a pause tape battler. I mean, shit. Oh yeah. Pause tapes is basically, you had a double cassette deck, and that was basically the most advanced equipment that you had, or at least that I had, that I could afford. And so it was the double tape deck, and you basically made loops by, the drum beat comes in, and you record from the, the one left side, the play side, to the record side. And so you'd have to just get the pause button just right. So when the beat came up, you'd unpause it, and the beat would go, and then you'd have to pause it just perfectly before the music started. Then you'd rewind, and you'd do it again, and you'd do it again. And so you just have your little loops going on a cassette tape. That's some caveman shit. That's what we used to work with, banging stones together to make a fire. And that's the other thing, is you smoke a lot of weed and you make pause tapes, and then you try to play it for somebody, and people are like, why am I listening to this? Who cares? Okay, so sampling. I remember I went to Yauk's apartment in Brooklyn, and this has got to be 84, maybe, around 84, 85, around then. And he was like, oh shit, you got to see this thing that I did. And I went into his place, and he had just a tape, a tape loop running all the way around his apartment. And it was John Bonham beat, what the fuck is that?
Levy breaks or something?
When the levee breaks. And levee breaks, and he's got it like, the tape deck, and he's got a piece of tape going all the way around his, but like a mic stand, a chair, and it's just going around, that beat. And who knew? who knew you could do that? I didn't know. And he's like, yeah, tape loops, you know, like Jimi Hendrix used to do it and Sly Stone used to do it. And I was like, oh shit, that's fucking cool. If you could have the drum beat going, then why not have, you know, Super Sperm playing, or, you know, any of those breaks or any of those grooves or whatever, and why not, you know, rap on those like you were just doing, you know, a couple years ago. I believe that Beastie Boys has the first legal document to use the word sample in terms of a music license infringement. I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about that, but yeah, lawsuit. Jimmy Castor Bunch, Hey Leroy, we used their record and they sued us, which I'm sure someone played them like, that's our record on their record. How does that make sense? And so, you know, they were like, you know, you should pay us, which makes sense. And we used plenty of it. And so they were like, you know, it's a sample of music and blah, blah, blah. So that's what I believe, or I've been told, that Beastie Boys was the first sample lawsuit. We didn't really call it sampling.
What do you call it?
You know, the shack up beat. I don't know, you just called it whatever it was. Loops?
Okay. But then when you would do like something that wasn't necessarily a loop, but it would just be an accent.
We didn't call it samples until, you know, it all kind of caught on. Until like Paul's Boutique. You know, they just had some crazy machine that played this music. Like it was a computer thing, and I was like, that's fucking crazy. I don't even know what that is. I'm just gonna bring my records and you guys do it. For the record, I'm fine if somebody wants to take something that I've made and chop it up, and so it's like their own new thing. That's interesting to me. We played a show in LA at this club called Power Tools. And this is a little bit of history. We played the show at our friend Matt Dyke's club, Power Tools. We come on, the 808, boom, blows the whole PA up. Guy Mario Caldato goes up to our friend Matt and says, I told you, man, I met you a couple weeks ago and said you should let me do sound. I'm gonna do sound from now on at your club. Mario and Matt met these other guys. They started the Dust Brothers, Beck fame and a lot of other things. And then Mario Caldato, when we went back to LA, we met Mario. We needed an engineer. Through him, we met, you know, all these people, and then Mario was our engineer. Mario was the guy that knew all of the stuff. Adam Yauch and Mario knew, you know, they know all of the gear stuff and techniques, and that's what Mario, you know, while we were being a band growing up, Mario was being an engineer growing up. And that's what he was into, studying how, like, Jimmy Page got his sounds, how Lee Perry got his sounds, like all the great, you know, producers and engineers and stuff. And so I was really lucky to, like, get to work with Mario because he taught me a lot in terms of how to, you know, engineer. And when we started recording with Mario for years, we worked together. He recorded everything. I mean, we have hundreds of hours of tapes of just really bad, like, jamming.